Okay, this is your boy Terry. Let me explain everything, almost everything, but in summary, I hope I'm going to be able to keep this video short, just so that I can garner your attention, throughout the course of the video. It's very simple. Many of the things that appear very complex in reality is very simple. However, we live in a world where we spend entire lives not evolving into full-blown humanhood. I'll explain that. Let me start here. There's so much intel that needs a revelation. However, much of this intel stays redundant in people's heads. This is something that you may not, it's not popular. It's not easy to establish because to attain this particular kind of knowledge, you have to get there, and to get there, the roads are testimonially hard. Now, the world teaches of comfort, pursuit of happiness. However, it markets that terminology, but mostly for business sake, that every human remains a client, in a cycle of half humanism and hand-to-mouthism, in pursuit of world standards of highs, and after the attainment of one high, pursuit of another high. However, there's an irony. Humans are pursuing these standards in a rat race, and that irony permeates the world. The world is filled with half humans. However, some think that they are full-blown humans. In reality, even godlike, while others are labeled tunnelers, have to wait till the end of the tunnel to find light. Now, they say knowledge is power, and it is true, but the particular knowledge tangible for human evolution is knowledge that is whole, knowledge that is balanced. However, knowledge as we have it today is partial, mostly outer space knowledge. The down-to-earth knowledge, when we say outer space knowledge, that's what we have in the books. Most of the books have been written. However, there is knowledge in the down-to-earth spaces of Mama Earth. This knowledge is hard to get. It's very spiritual, very intensely deep. And this is something I got. So I'm testimonies to the existence of this knowledge and the essence of this knowledge towards human evolution. Now, it's looking complex, but it's very, very simple, and I'll break it down. Let's look at the world intently. What exactly is missing? To keep it simple, you will hear about what is missing when you hear about what the meaning of surpassing Google is. And it's simple: removing barriers to entry from everything good, so that everything good becomes available to anyone. Now, is this attainable? I apologize, let's wait for that airplane to pass. Is this attainable? And I tell you, according to a legitimate illiterate, it is very attainable. Extremely attainable. And I'll break it down, how simple it is, and measures I've taken and I'm taking, and perhaps you'll understand why I have so many battles. Humans, we were privileged, created in the image of the Creator. His name is Jehovah. If you look at that sentence intently, that's matter, has weight and occupies space. To have in subjection the fishes of the sea, the flying creatures of the heavens, a grand privilege. With brains powerful than supercomputers, the five senses, So let's establish that. So what exactly is wrong? How did this particular human suddenly become labeled as poor, as third world, as developing. And you will realize that many of these things is preempted. Anyway, I apologize, I'm losing my train of thought. Yes, there's just something that we lose out on. And in based on curriculums of the world, in some cases due to circumstances, and all we have really lost out on is attaining the image of the Creator. To a large extent, we have it intact when we are young. Encoded into our DNA is a sense of justice, in human virtues, our conscience intact. A sense of curiosity. All those tenets that are supposed to be innate to human are gone, unevolved, relegated into redundancy, because there comes curriculums that constitute standards in the world. Curriculums that incite you to pursue knowledge, partial knowledge, incite you to mine of your brain, incite you to a mind of your brain, excellence, pursue things of luxury. Why is this so? Because if you are to evolve other virtues of human along with this, you will have balance. Information will be made whole to you. Business will not work. So labels come about. Strategic labels, basically, and the world suddenly becomes about labels. Black or white. Gray will not sell. Those two extremities will sell because it will put humans in a state of tension. Climb the ladder, climb whatever ladder, stamp on as many people, simply because now they have a certain label. Speaking of genders, it's just scary where the world is headed. There are now like 100 genders. Some big players, not big players, so-called big players, sit somewhere and create this social stunts and buzz. It's all for the same reason, that humans can stay in a cycle of hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism. Things like knowledge thus become monopolized, centralized to the few, become the sought after, become godlike. All that is occurring in the world in the form of infrastructural development, technological advancement, is as simple as creating things that will remove value from humans and put it into superficial, inanimate things, so that these things become God, the sought after, the revered, the standard, and the large bulk of humans who are now who have now lost out in value, pursue these things in an endless cycle. What do you think it is? Google, Facebook, money, revenue seeks them. How do you think that's possible? There's some measure spiritual sense to this. What exactly do? They take control of your mind. There's a mind in existence in every human. They mine this particular mind and they create a collective of it. They process it. But what is in this mind? Everything that constitutes your essence, your identity, your value, your spirit, your definition, your purpose, your future purpose. Yes, they put cookies in your browser. They don't know what they are doing, but that's exactly what is happening. You will see these things, when you use a measure of spirituality. It's very easy to see. Your shine, that is exactly what is missing in the world. Human shine. However, the narrative that's pushed forward is poverty, is what is missing. So the so-called solution becomes reward distribution. And then you see infrastructures, technology, everything revolve around reward distribution. So that some people become apparent saviors, apparent solution bringers. when underlyingly the typical essence for this is to keep humans in a cycle of hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism, so that products keep selling. Each human simply constitutes a client without value. And according to you, even to you, you doubt value in humans. Because humans come to you, and many of us aren't testimony of the potential of a full-blown human. That's why we doubt the value in a fellow human. Because according to us, many of these things are out of the box, impossible, when in reality humans have a measure of invincibility, courtesy of the image of the Creator, a privilege, a grand privilege. But we never evolve to those measures, to begin to rank great, to begin to walk with our presence feeling empty space and the universe halting because we walked and our presence filled space. We never evolved to those levels, and then the excuse becomes, what is God today? Oh, I have no job. That's a career ladder. I have no money. Those become primary, when many things are in reality as simple as simply humanly exhaustible possibilities. We never take those measures because we aren't confident. Our value isn't established even to us, and we know that we live in a world filled with half-humans. In a world filled with full-blown humans, money becomes the smaller things. Money will want to be hosted by you, and there's evidence of this with the likes of Google and Facebook. Money seeks them out. Because what exactly do? They take your shine, everything, your value, which you give out subconsciously, as you use the internet in the comfort of your homes without being wary of your surroundings. You exhibit your inner being, your inner self. But these things are valueless to you, so you emit it subconsciously, obliviously, giving control of it to the so-called superpowers of the world. Now these people process it, love it, process it, and they have the spirit and value of each human in a collective. Now they can suddenly influence you to any measure because they have come to know you more than you know yourself. A level of small God. Now they can hold you accountable as well, become the standard, become the governance. And they can hold you accountable because they know you more than you know yourself, and you know nothing of them or about them to be able to hold them accountable. So even in terms of morals, they become the standards. Now, that aside, look at the world critically. How is it possible that humans, who are supposed to have unique genes, in some cases stubborn genes, I tell you today that there are entire nations that have similar writing. When we are small, they will beat you in Nigeria. They will beat you because just to make you better your writing, and nothing can adjust it. But we have turned to a world where half a stone can capture an entire expanse of populace because we are half humans. We never evolve. There are entire nations that particular time on each day, that they are captured in front of a television by just 2 TV programs. Those 2 TV programs is capable of dividing the whole nation, creating additional barriers besides the preempted barriers that nations constitute. By world standards, nations are, it brings about a measure of fanaticism, patriotism, tension amongst humans, where in reality nations are locations. Even the Bible says, be no part of the world, but you cannot understand the extent of the context of that sentence because you need a measure of depth, human evolution, to process these things. Your perception is very limited by how many things you can see. That's biblical statement is simply tied to politics. Oh, don't engage in political activities, but it's extremely broad. For your human evolution to come out intact, for you to attain the image of the Creator, to come out ripe, you need to shed some of the nation, shed away the nations, to where nations are merely locations. Just the accomplishment of that alone puts you in a state of limitlessness, just that alone, transcending of these barriers of nations. Entire nations are put in place to hold curriculums intact that will keep curriculums to maintain the curriculum that constitutes the status, the the dynamics of the nation, of the nation. How is it possible that you can tell that if the expression or reaction to a particular stimuli of almost entire nations, WTF, you know that someone's right in USA will say that. You can predict it beforehand. I can do an entire lifetime without having any of these mannerisms. And when you are too predictable, then who are you? You are nobody. You are sharing the collective identity, and that's what happens in the world of today. Google is there constituting 80% of human brain. Nothing that you can exert of yourself, your human senses, your human virtues to find answers to. We don't dig. These are things we have as children, a sense of curiosity. It was intact. These things are innate to humans. We just lose out on it when we enter into world curriculums and become, imbibe these things. And sometimes due to circumstances, when pummel you, keep you in the darkness, then your essence enters relegation. You no longer evolve. It becomes about the world standards of success, money, and all these things. The reason I want to lay this basis is because the solution is too simple. Hard to see, however, except you have gone deep. When I say deep, I mean down to earth. All these things are just around us. All these things. Geeks can never know these things because this particular type of knowledge is not documented. You call it the no books. NO-BOOKS. No books. You call it legitimate illiteracy. Not just illiteracy, legitimate illiteracy. For this insight to arrive, I didn't read books or anything. It's just took me ages and came in stages, stage by stage. Because even information, the world doesn't know of dynamics of information. And I want to break this down so you understand where I'm headed. We will look at technology, the world's methods or solutions to, according to them, abate poverty and all that. And I will apply a measure of legitimate illiteracy, and you will see how simple it is to fix many of the matters that we rigmarole for ages, calling them matters. Many of these things are illusionary stuff, non-existent in reality. So, let's start with broken English. It's very simple. Try to reverse broken English and you will see how complex it is. Because while one is just superficial, fanciful words, the other contains dirt, a measure of human. What is human? Human is dust. We run away from dust today. The other contains stories and history, grind, spirit, the human essence, the human evolution. When you are creating something like, and these things create, combine and create a context, a very large spiritual context, because now it has the human integration, but not just typical human in a state of evolution. When you have to form broken English, there's some grind there. For example, you say, and you will see that, you will realize that from the understanding, when a fellow person suddenly understands because of the application of the spirit connecting with you on a spiritual level. Because, for example, what I'm trying to say is, You may form any form of broken. Of course, broken, when you get to certain levels, you start to speak in tongues, generate your own language. And surprisingly, another person understands it because he identifies the context, but not exactly because of that, because he is in a state of evolution, exerting his inner deep person spirit and connecting with you on that very level. Not on a literate level, that is a showy display of fanciful words and stuff like that. On a, go back, trade by barter. Humans had more value then. And it was possible then to have exchanged a Ferrari for an iPhone. How so? That's impossible now because humans have lost out on value. But humans, that's why I say there's a rarity in the great men industry, a growing rarity in the great men industry as generations progress. We fix that rarity, we surpass Google. In today's world, you can rarely point out a great man. Bill Gates is not great. Mark Zuckerberg is not great. Yes, and they will not doubt it. I mean, yes, they have geek knowledge and that, but to attain greatness, you need to have a balance, both. And how do they attain knowledge contained in the down to earth? Facebook cannot, it's not in the making of Facebook. The enterprise model constituting Facebook, the paradigms guarding its enterprise model, its algorithms. You can't find down to earth, paradigms there, because down to earth knowledge is undocumented. You can't document these things. Back to broken, you'll see the complexity of the context when someone says, oh boy, Shayna, like this we go day. Very simple stuff, but I don't know what broken. I'm not very familiar with broken, but if you tell me to say something broken, I may end up saying something close to broken, with just create nonsense, and sifting of it, you'll find sense therein. And if you want to reverse it into typical English, then you will see how complex the so-called illiterate knowledge is. Even in comparison to what is called outer space or the complexest knowledge. Now, look at Facebook, for example. They can't have taken cognizance of the entire globe. People that have been labeled tunnels. What is the solution? Consolation. Wait till the end of the tunnels. While a typical legitimate illiterate already understands the dynamic of lights can go right inside tunnels, ready to take initiative, pummel himself, evolve, tap into his own shine so as to emit light courtesy of his shine, and so that light enters right inside tunnels, so that not any longer does anyone have to wait till the end of the tunnel to find light. Now imagine adding that paradigm into the formation of Facebook. Then you may not need to buy WhatsApp, when it accrues a demography of say 1 billion people, or Instagram. Look at Google. You may not need to buy the other applications that Google has, Microsoft, because in the formation or the evolution of your project model, you would have taken cognizance of every human, not tunnels included. The world already has a notion of developing and developed. Look at the search engines, the ranking algorithms in the search engines. That already constitutes a barrier. Does the owner of Google know that there are some people that turn to the internet in a bid to find a level playing field? Circumstance in their nation has pummeled them, tied their wings, and they turn to the internet, being that the internet is inanimate, in a bid to excel there on a level playing ground where location isn't a factor. But you arrive on the internet and find out that IP location is a paramount measure of relevance when it comes to display of information by the Google search engines. So you see the limitation, and there are tons of concepts, the dynamics of the today's world that has been documented, that is a barrier to solutions, the potential of solutions as an actual solution. Just developing and developed, we remove it from anything, even the world of programming. Suddenly anyone can code. But there are many other things besides developing and develop. The world is novice to the complexest tenets of real life. This is what you see in Ninja. But Ninjas don't know these things because circumstance has pummeled them. Their shine relegated. And everyone wants to follow others into outer space, pursue the superficial things and stop evolving. The irony is that people, that carry themselves as gods are half humans as well. Why? Because of the accolades they receive, the following, people constantly following them into outer space, revering them as the standard, as knowledge base and all that. They stop evolving, because they have attained, godlike status. So that irony is what permeates and controls the entire globe. The world becomes filled with half humans, then half humanism continues in a cycle. Now, let's talk of solutions. It's very, very simple. What have I done? What is my mission? What is the vision within my dream? As it has been established. And it's very simple. And that is why I have so many battles. I wish someone understands me. There's no one to turn to in this world, that can understand these things. And these things are just very, very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. If I tell you that I have spiritual battles where Satan himself is on my case, it looks ordinary. It looks like a blatant joke. I don't know how to express what I'm going through. I wish, that people just, even if you don't grasp the concept, just exert of your human virtues and put yourself out there, live in Terry and with all conviction, and just apply your spirit to fight for Terry. Now you may understand why I have these battles. Let me tell you my story. I won't tell you of all the hassle and all that. When I talk hassle, I don't talk ordinary hassle. These things are nothing to me, really. Nothing to me. This regular thing that looks like hassle, by world standards, is avenues for me to evolve, to exert of my human virtue. Someone slaps me is an avenue for me to exert and exercise forgiveness. These were my gifts. I had certain virtues as my gift, making me capable of grasping and translating things that are considered suffering by world standards. So I stay there. But the kind of suffering that I go through is complexest suffering. But for me to be able to find the knowledge that is pertinent, that only me can reveal, pertinent for breakthrough in human evolution, I had to do this suffering without an outlet so that I can translate it aright. So if I had an outlet, the knowledge will not arrive. So as a young boy, I had the life of a really baffling life, unbelievable life, really. You won't believe it. Come to the Philippines where everything is free, nothing, and I'm here in isolation doing time. I say I've done time. When you have done time, many things become forgivable. When you have seen many things become ordinary. That was what I was doing. Time. And by time I refer to like people do behind bars, inside isolation, but conscious isolation. Me as CEO, not me under duress in a spawn in another person's endeavors. Me as CEOing myself in the face of what is labeled discomfort, then grasping it and translating it into things of good. So now, as I did this in stages, insight began to arrive. Because, like I said earlier, even information, it has to be dispensed with consideration for the recipient. This is legitimate illiterate knowledge. You have to care about the dispensation of knowledge so that it accomplishes its intent, else it becomes a deterrent or misconstrued. Someone that has not seen 10 billion one kobo before, even if you want to give him a lorry load of money, you have to process it in stages so that he's ripe. Else that good news can become a detrimental news. Someone can faint and collapse upon seeing lorry loads of money. So information arrived in stages after stage till it became complete. When this information became complete, I started to have my toughest of battles, and that is till this day. But I'm closest. You are far away, but if I'm with you, I will break these things down using scenarios. You just pick the scenario and I'll break it down with insight from above, nothing of my knowledge. May this be established that all the things that I talk of, all the things that I see, all my projects carry a prayer. These things arrived, to me with insight from above. I didn't read books. I stopped reading books maybe like a decade already. Yes, so in stages it came about. That was how I adopted the name Surpassing Google. It's not entirely about surpassing the search engines, but the search engines is one media to reach out to, bring about mainstreamity for the message that I carry. Now, a lot of aspects of me evolved. Many of my virtues evolved. Self-control, those things were intact. And sometimes I wish I could shed some of the burden. Because of these virtues, life became extremely difficult. My body got pummeled. Now I'm no longer a human being. A person who takes my route will not be normal. Without the special gifts that Jehovah gave me, and without outlets, it's only grace. But my body took a beating. On the other side, spiritual, mental, I managed through. But physically now, I'm no longer a human. So knowledge arrived, I became Surpassing Google, and all the insights, answers came about. And it's very simple. My mission is very simple. Redirect people to the Creator. That is all. But doing it with a curriculum. I'm not the preacher. I'm not the one that will tell you, oh, Terry, wait till the end of the tunnel, wait till paradise. That's not my route. The route I'm taking, that may be for other people, but that's not the route I'm taking to redirect people to the Creator. I'm taking initiative because this became my purpose. So to accomplish this, everything was given to me in the form of insight in stages till it became complete. And it was very simple, using creation to direct people to the Creator. However, by creation, I refer to the most, utmost, and beautiful of earthly creation, humans. So the model became very simple. Create enterprises that will incite humans to mind their human or evolve their human. This way, they begin to reattain the image of the Creator. And when you attain the image of the Creator, even your morality will become intact. Your conscience begin to be restored. All the powerful, beautiful blessings and capabilities of human will be tapped. Your shine will be tapped. Money will become the smaller things. And this is all that we don't do. We spend entire lifetimes simply not doing this. Most times we just become pawns to a curriculum set in place by humans like us. In reality, man cannot rule man. That's why it's going to the extremities. To where humans have lost everything that constitutes shine, and as a result have become shallow. And once you are shallow, you have no defenses, perhaps no morality, because when you are too predictable, then who are you? When it is known that after you finish eating, the next thing is a cigarette, nobody needs to take any preemptive measures or wonder ways to tackle you or deal with you. When they can predict your every response to stimuli, then they become God on you. Every business proposal works. You are simply a client, that's all. They know how to sway you left and right. You have no influence on matters because you are too predictable. Destruction of the world before, when God regretted making humans, that was it, shallowness. Merriment, man drinking, women eating, and that's what the world does. It hypes shallowness because shallowness is very subtle. Is very subtle. You cannot accost someone and reprimand them for being shallows. Accost them as being bad or something, because nothing wrong with it in reality. But when you look at even the past critically, every typical, utmostly detrimental sin is in shallowness. Very subtle, not in the don't have sex, don't kill. Those were not winner temptations. First woman, what was it? Of every fruit in the garden he made, but of one in the middle of the garden. What does that test? It's a very simple temptation to pass, but it tests shallowness, the substance of the human, the unshakiness of that substance. Esau and Jacob. Esau lost the fatherhood of Israel for a bowl of soup, just to satisfy a mediocre impulse that any grown-up can shun. 1 hour of starvation. What is that you cannot do? A full-blown man, and you call yourself a man. Now you satisfy that hunger and you lose out on your birthright. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. On the 31st day, what was the temptation? It wasn't a blatant, blunt, it was very subtle. Turn stones to bread. He may be justified if he did, because that may show a measure of shallowness, but he may be justified. He has done 40 days and 40 nights. But depth is what comes in when you say, oh, I've done 40 days and 40 nights. What is another shoving aside food? And look at today's world. The world revolves around hand-to-mouthism. That temptation, turn stones to bread, is what shapes the entire world. A cycle of hand-to-mouthism. You want security, but mediocre security by human standards. Humans are supposed to be able to fly, but all you want is food, the next meal, and then everything that gives you that meal is God. Animals do better today. There's Blackie the rich cat, and we're told to have in subjection the fishes of the sea, the flying creatures of the heaven. Go and check Superman, a superficial fictional character. Maybe his Facebook page, he may have 1 million followers, and humans don't. So what are we doing? So the solution is very simple: mining of the human. So all I did was create models, projects that will incite humans to do this subconsciously, obliviously. The essence of these projects was to play out an entire curriculum, using these projects as a mentality adjuster, giving more testimonial essence to regular human activities that people know, people do, or integrating that paradigm, so that every human activity becomes an avenue to further evolve the human. Now, why is it surpassing Google? Because people will not see what's coming, but they will begin to grow, back towards the image of the creator. So I'll explain this further. I need to delete something from this device and come back. The memory is short. Give me a moment, please. So I'm back. The visual of this video may be, terrible, but please bear with me. Even of my so-called nonsense, sift of it to find sense therein. All this so-called money we seek like no tomorrow. The answers are right here. I'm here, breaking down of myself to pop out these rare words. I apply my spirit in all these moments, carry a prayer. So just your presence here and breakthrough may arrive. Maybe not for me. I know because my battles are very grand, very, very serious battles. But if you're here, just invest in the person of Terry and just listen, sift of my nonsense to find sense therein, exert your human virtues, evolve in the process of listening to what I'm saying. All the answers are just here. The ever missing piece of your puzzle is here. So projects started to arrive. The projects didn't just arrive. I'm not tech savvy or anything, but this is, evidence that the insight is not of my making. Everything came about algorithms. I wrote all the algorithms, guarded by paradigms like surpassing Google, down to earth paradigms, untalented, undistalented. Every insight came about. It started out small before I transitioned onto to projects. The curriculum started to arrive. What I'm supposed to do. To get unadulterated feedback from participants and use it to further evolve the model. So I started out with simple community tags. Then those times I'd create contest, but contest with dynamics that don't exist, don't have documentation in any book. Then I would have people participate, and there was a reaction, even a spiritual reaction. I had my very first contest like that. I had like 1,000 comments, 1,000 entries. And in this particular entries, people were to write a particular publication. And they did. So I was able to draw unadulterated feedback. But information wasn't complete. I had to do stages and stages again of suffering. And on a particular day, it started with surpassing Google. The model, abating hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism, fixing the rarity in the great men industry, removing all barriers to entry from everything good, so that everything good becomes available to anyone. That now constituted the premise for the motion. Words still rule the world. Let there be light, and there was light. So, included in the dynamics, we will have to serve the search engines, but with a form of content constituting of words. But words not only as an object of fancy, but carrying context. Context filled with tenets of humans. When you talk of tenets of humans, there is so much that humans constitute. Although by today's standards, many of these things is relegated. The human shine, presence, swag, spirit, mentality. What's propagated today for the most part is knowledge. Mining the brain. That's most of the mining that we do. And the reason is so that we end up as clients. We end up intact in an incessant cycle of hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism. Because when you evolve other aspects of your human, you tap into greatness. When you tap into greatness, you begin to influence the world courtesy of your own shine. You become a generation fixer. You will care about the world. You will go into isolation to ponder and wonder about the world. You will become unordinary. Now, people are baffled, weird, feel that I'm weird because I think about the world. But these things are normal things that humans would do. In a world filled with full-blown humans, suddenly humanity is the brother next to you. Why so? Because you become a testimony to the existence of full-blown humanhood. When you're a full-blown human, someone comes to you carrying conviction, carrying his dream with conviction. You will believe that he may be a full-blown human because of testimonies in your case, because you are a full-blown human. So you won't shun him aside. You'll tackle him, deal with him, with knowledge of his value, of his invincibility, of his potential, of his spirit. You give him a handshake, it will not be the typical high five, it will be a warm handshake with exchange of vibes, strength, spirit. He asks for a Ferrari, you may give him a Ferrari because you know that a typical human has, the potential for breakthrough, for prowess, excellence, and in decade time. He may give you your Ferrari and a warm hug back. You will have conviction in that possibility because you are a testimony. It's just like you're a boy that is, promiscuous and all that. You will find it you always doubt your girl. Anywhere she goes, she's probably sleeping with someone and stuff like that, because that's something that you're a testimony of. Otherwise you will not doubt the possibility that she is a virgin. They tell you today, this girl is a virgin, they are virgins. Most boys will tell you, how is it, but there are no virgins in this world. You can't have conviction in the existence of virginity in others because you're not testimony to it. So that's what it is about full-blown humanhood. So that was how everything came about. So it was certain that words still rule the world, so one path would be content, the application of content creation and content curation as a means to consciously mind the human. So the first eulogs came about, a very, very simple form of content that already exists, but it isn't known to people. People will tag it as nonsense by today's standards. But a eulog is very, very, very powerful, very spiritual. And what is a eulog exactly? It's very simple. Simply create content, that is entirely made of excerpts of you. A byproduct of your conscious evolution. Content that is created fresh at every instance without resourcing from the internet. So a eulog created today should not have existed anywhere on the internet yesterday. Same applies to a eulog created tomorrow. Now, eulog can cover any niche or industry. So it's not entirely like a post or a publication about your life. It can be about chemistry, but with a human dynamic. Now, knowledge begins to be revealed, undocumented knowledge. Because as you eulog, you consciously evolve, you begin to tap into your shine, you begin to tap into your essence. Very soon you will find the knowledge that is laying in you as redundant information. It may not be relevant to your own evolution, but it may be tangible for the collective evolution of the world. And it's only you capable of revealing that particular knowledge. Everybody has it. We just never tap into it because Google becomes our brain. We no longer want to do what kids will do. You give a kid an iPad to solve a puzzle, you will stay there 10 hours. Curiosity. It's a kid that will ask you how the water gets in the coconut. Why is the sky blue? If I tell you now to watch this video, an adult, 30 years old, to watch this video, to understudy it, because I don't put you under duress or put a standard, you find it difficult and you want to make billions. Then you tell me that billions is the issue with the world. It's not. All that lies in how much you can CEO yourself. Stick to a regimen that you created with you as CEO of yourself. From papyrism to CEOism is as simple as exhausting large poop into tiny fart trinklets. It's not that hard. It's extremely simple. Extremely. Money will seek you. Guaranteed. It will look at you, lose its gaze, want to come to Papa, want to be hosted by you. And we will break it down. Don't doubt this. I'm talking with testimonies. That I talk of spiritual battle, a special case study. It doesn't affect you. But I'm far away from you. That is why I may not be able to have that much impact in terms of driving you. I may be able to have impact, but the problem now, it boils down to the same. Will you invest in another person? Will you exert of your human virtues to invest in a fellow human? Do you believe with conviction in the unordinariness of human? Humans are unordinary. Poverty doesn't exist. Not a soul is truly capable of exhibiting poverty. The thing is that we never attain full-blown humanhood, so there are many steps, humanly possible steps, that we do not take because of the reservations we have, courtesy of doubt in our own value, our own full-blown humanhood. That's why right now you will entertain fears in going to a Franklin or a Chiaka to tell him of your dreams and ask him to support it, because first of all you doubt your own value as a human, and then you doubt the value in other humans and their perception of you courtesy of their established value, because you're afraid, they will say, who am I to ask? Will you walk into a bank now and show the bank manager your proposal and tell him to give you the key of the vault? Now you'll say it's bizarre, but that's bizarre by world standards. Because by today's world standards, humans are half humans. Who are you to go to a bank? But it's a humanly exhaustible step. It's just 5 minutes walk from your house to the bank. Meeting a fellow human like you and telling him of your dreams and telling. Now it's not a must, or it's not established that he will give you, but the fact is, first, simplest, obvious solutions. You want to know what is on Bingo's mind? Ask Bingo what is on its mind. It's a humanly exhaustible step, but by world standards, we jump to the end complex solutions. Do school, do PhD, then go to outer space, become an apprentice under an alien, come back to do psychiatry, animal psychiatry, then still come back to attend to find out what is in a dog's mind. Or maybe kill 100 dogs to experiment until you can find out what is in a dog's mind. The first humanly possible solution is weird, and it's very simple. Just ask Bingo what is on its mind. So that's it. You want a Ferrari. Will you go into a Ferrari store? The first excuse is, I don't have a dime. I don't have a Versace. People will look at me from head to toe. Yes, that is what is obtainable in the world today. But it's possible to transcend these things depending on how much evolution you have come by. It's depending on your full-blown humanhood. And I tell you, when you tap into that, you will walk into the Ferrari and you will not be the same. You will be unordinary. You will talk and your spirit will touch. You'll be able to appeal to the soft spot of humans. Suddenly the illusionary barriers that are really illusionary barriers will become illusionary. barriers of nation. You will transcend nation. When you speak to a woman, it won't be whether it's black, white. They will see the manhood in you. They will talk to you and they will already see of your potential. They've never seen it with other people. Other people, they have to look for a Ferrari. But they will talk to you and they will already envision your vision. It's not coincidence that, this says I talk with testimonies, but, many of these barriers doesn't exist in reality. So-called racism, these are just buzzwords and labels to put barriers, additional barriers, so that a curriculum doesn't break. People don't span out of a curriculum. Instead, people are under tension. So they put barriers upon barriers, and people, start to identify with these barriers. Developed nations, they believe that they are developed. They want to seek aid. That's now their role in the world, to seek aid. Then the others become entitled as solution bringers. So a cycle remains intact. So ulog was created, very simple, use content and content curation. When it comes to a ulog, you remove all barriers to entry. Anyone can be ulogger because it has an untalented paradigm. We don't celebrate what is labeled untalent today. So some people are called literate, some people are called illiterate, some people are called talented, the others are called untalented. Some people are called experts, the others are called experts. How do you remove these barriers? By making it available to anyone. How do you make it available to anyone? The world doesn't know how to answer these questions because the world doesn't know of these things. Mosquito bites you, you call 911. That's typical of the world. You no longer, or somebody slaps you, you bring a gun. It's easy. You eliminate the person. That's what the world knows of. Does the world know of other mysterious solutions? Someone slaps you and you walk away. Someone slaps you and you turn the other cheek. Someone slaps you and you retaliate. Someone slaps you and you are afraid to slap back because maybe it's a mopol or an army. Someone slaps you and you are afraid that maybe spiritually it may go and attack you and you'll just be living, walking zombie. Whether that exists or not, it constitutes a scenario. Now of all these things. How can Bill Gates beat you then? When I can tell you how Bill Gates, with all the geek knowledge, how he will react to a particular stimuli. I can tell you that you give him a comment that is perceived negative, your account will be blocked. So when we talk greatness, it doesn't lie in book knowledge. It lies in the unpredictability that comes with the complexest knowledge of the complexest tenets of real life. It's not shocking that someone will tell you to start your car and he'll tell you the problem while the other will have to enter outer space to garner the same knowledge. To one, there is a spiritual side. So content, very powerful. Words still rule the world. Use content, serve this content into the search engines. When we have, let's say, 1 million uloggers, we create a new internet, an internet that is not static, one that is dynamic and ever refreshing, and one that's filled with humans. It's no coincidence that Google, what constitutes popularity today is what has constituted popularity forever. Knowledge is static. People, when they blog or vlog, they simply reference existing knowledge. That knowledge is the standard, and knowledge becomes recycled. The same knowledge that has existed on the internet for 10 years is the same. How to make money online. You will not see something like, the nearest ATM is 5 minutes away, walk there and try to type 1 million there. You will see it on the internet that we create with ulogs. Because in a ulog, a human is allowed to be free, untalented, entirely an excerpt of an evolving version of himself. Is allowed to attempt out of the box, and these things are celebrated, even rewarded. So you see how powerful a ulog is. However, the Google of today, made up of blogs and vlogs, and Ariana Grande is bound to rank even forever. The world has seen her as popular, as relevant, and that is the standard. You type in the word face, Google is likely to give you Facebook. I studied the search engine algorithm without any knowledge of code when I started. And a legitimate illiterate will do it snap of a finger. See the beauty in any technology more than the creator of the beauty of the technology. Because again, when you have seen many things become ordinary. And courtesy of my understudy of legitimate illiteracy, sticking with the down to earth, the grinding there, I have insight into both worlds. Of course, and that's your edge. I wonder why this isn't known. Just value and explore the down to earth. You already have insight into outer space knowledge. It's documented in the books. It's on media, on television, and everything. So that's what ulog came about. So I created ulogs.org. It's a social media platform that rewards every tier. Now, that is the base. The top, the overall base is a digital currency called teardrops that will reward every tier. But tier as a byproduct of human evolution. Tiers as connected to breakthrough. A digital currency with a prayer. Nobody knows of the value of a prayer. Nobody knows of the value of a warm handshake. Do they know that someone can shake you today and tomorrow your breakthrough arrives? Shake you with all the spirit, pass in a prayer, drop a tear and integrate a prayer into the tear, and the next day breakthrough starts to knock on your door. Does the world know of these things? They can't. See, so this is where the edge lies. The issue is that we neglect these aspects of the world because circumstance don't beat us tired, and so for you to be able to stick to that base, you have to shed the nation. You need to have stubborn genes. Genes are stubborn, but they can be pummeled too, and that's something we lose out on. So that was the first step. Teardrops reward every tear, but dispel the the narrative that tears is associated with sadness. And what if it is? Sadness is avenues to resolve anew. It's avenues to exert of your human senses, to exert your human virtues, exercise it. It brings about humility and all that. So why is it so frowned at? And we live in an imperfect world where sadness is in reality indispensable. But of course the world wants market now, they want to sell. So pursue happiness the moment you see anything that the world itself has labeled discomfort. Oh, someone slaps you, they will label it abuse, violence. When in deep context it can be love. Jesus went into the temple and he took a whip, and so the world changes what love is and makes it more about a feeling. Weakens it using words, the dictionary weakens it. Now, of course, when it comes to meaning of words, you turn to the dictionary. When there are some life scenarios that words are weak, it's never sufficient enough we need to create new dictionaries, which is something that we'll create. What we are doing is so grand, so the battles will be so high. Now, as people ulog, create content every day, courtesy of themselves, at the very least, of course they can blog, they can vlog, but attain a culture of ulogging, they begin to tap into their humans, they begin to tap into their cookies, their very elements. The same thing that they dispense freely while they browse, giving it to Google. They will identify themselves. They are taking ownership of the mind, their mind. And money is bound to seek them because money becomes the smaller things. We're not talking like minds now. Exact like minds will begin to find you. Because in a ulog, it contains your entire identity, your essence. People will see it. And why is it exact like mind? Because a ulog may not be comfortable to read, it may not be pleasant. So people that arrive to you will have to have evolved themselves, dug of these excerpts of you to find your identity in it, then come to you. So there's a difference between like minds and exact like minds. Exact like minds will take you anywhere. brothers who believe in you like no tomorrow, because they dug just to find you. Like minds, they may come here and say, oh, Terry has spoken again, oh, blah 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 blah. Get into this video 10 minutes. That's why I make my videos lengthy, because I want to put in a sifter, because I'm seeking only exact like minds. Yes, do the hustle, do the grind. When you find me, you will stick around as a true fan. So let the videos be lengthy, let the videos be of poor quality, and that is what a vlog is. Unlike a vlog where you need fancy cameras, you need pouted lips and all that, a vlog is allowed to be just an excerpt of you, no paint, realistic, however it comes about, however the spirit guides. Now if somebody comes to you courtesy of your vlog, then breakthrough arrives, because it's your brother. Now let's progress. Another thing that is missing when it comes to evolution of human is dream building. So that's brought about the project model for the next enterprise. It's called steamgigs.org. Now, when it comes to all these social media platforms, vlogs.org is a social media platform with a coin integration. So when somebody likes your content, you earn the teardrops token. So you are rewarded for your tears, because by vlogging, you are consciously evolving, and route evolution, you attain breakthrough, and route breakthrough, there is bound to be teardrops, whether happy, sad, or unfelt tears. We want to reward each tear. So that's what the vlog is about. All the algorithms are written to empower people, to bring people to further limelight. Imagine a Facebook that celebrates you. Imagine a Facebook, because I will not change. Lorry loads of money will not sway me. Even if vlogs grow and become world renowned, I'll still be this Terry, accessible, and your boy Terry. That's a constant. I'm your true fan. So imagine vlogs being as big as Facebook, and I'm giving you your face is everywhere on the platform, celebrating you. These are possibilities that the world don't know about, because the world is about labels, about barriers. But these reservations will not exist with a down-to-earth innovation, and a down-to-earth innovation is vlogs.org. The second one is steamgigs.org. Very simple. Remove all barriers to entry from dream building. So we created a marketplace for services, but a marketplace that allows experts and non-experts alike. Now, what power does that bring? Very powerful, because first of all, it removes barriers to entry from dream building. People attempting to do graphic design and all that, they have barriers today, because some of them, by world standards, they are told that they are not good. They're terrible graphic designers, terrible singers. So we integrated an undis-talented paradigm with the enterprise model of SteamGigs, enabling both experts and non-experts to participate. What more does this bring? It returns value to human. Remember earlier that I talked of every innovation today modeled to remove value to human and put it on all these fanciful, superficial items. Yes, we are changing that narrative. We are returning value to humans. How so? Now we are giving money its place in society as the smaller things. When you make it that experts and non-experts can participate in the dream building ecosystem, everyone can suddenly build their dreams, even if they have no money. For example, you want graphic design. You don't have enough money. It's possible to find a graphic designer who is willing to give out his service for free for the sake of honing his expertise, because he is non-expert in graphic design. This gives you an affordable means to get your graphic work done, or perhaps a cheaper means. Someone may give his graphic service at cheaper rate because he considers himself a non-expert. But what's more, there becomes a social interaction. The value of human is needed, because Gosh, I'm losing my thoughts. I apologize. I need to rush this video because memory is about to finish and it's dark and I'm very weak and tired. Anyway, so yes, then there's something called exchange of service for service. You know, going back to the world of trade by barter that existed in the down-to-earth times of the world. You know, why isn't it possible to exchange service for service? Okay, I want to code an aspect of my website. I don't have money. You see, we're giving money the smaller things. Help me do graphic design on this graphic design and I'll code an aspect of your website. So service for service. That restores power to human. So now you know that money is not entirely a deterrent to your dreams or possibilities, because you can now turn to a human. Something we don't do in this world. You know, humans are so valueless in this world. Chihuahua has more value. You know, people will put out $30,000 to regain a Chihuahua that is lost. You know, they will prefer to feed a dog than feed you. You know, how bad has it gone? And it's scary where it's headed. You know, a dog is battering a human, and instead of, you know, looking for something to, you know, scram that dog off, it's first of all world star. You want to get clout. You want to take a video that will go viral, or you're having a reservation thinking, oh, it's a pet, it's a cute dog. Then you see the human, his bone broken. We have a lot to do. I just wish that you can just hear me out and just fight for me once and for all. And I want to create a hub. Let's do this and create beauty. The world is returning back down to earth. Now is the time. You know, technology is attaining a limit. Infrastructure development is attaining a limit. You know, what more can the world create? Currently, there's blockchain technology, there's artificial intelligence. After that, human bots. That's underway already. After that, they will try human clones. After that, what's more? That is the cap. The world will begin to return back down to earth. It's no coincidence that you see people from the West all over in Africa trying, you know, all those rural areas, wanting to instill themselves in the culture. They're looking for greatness. Greatness lies in those spaces, you know, in the dirt. The greatness is not so clean. You know, there's dirt involved. Any fine stone requires a measure of dirt. You have to dig of it, refine it. It's no coincidence that people adjust the world from isolation in prison. You know, Hitler stemmed the world wars from his prison place, you know, because there more value is restored to his human. He's the only one there, you know, and that space becomes an avenue to evolve the human. So people tap into new aspects of them. You know, humans have a measure of invincibility. We're made in Jehovah's image with every power and much power. You know, Jehovah gave us what we need to, to navigate this world. He puts it in our DNA, at least a measure of it. So why have we become so valueless, so helpless? You know, like I want to create a hub now. I have to take a knife and slice my neck. What is in doing this? What is there in a hub, an office that, and where a boy you are convinced that he's your boy Terry, you know, he's a true fan. What exactly is there that is undoable in this world of today that is so progressive? Isn't that an irony that the world is so progressive and yet we are becoming so valueless? So the third enterprise was macro hard. Macro hard is exciting because I'm going to write a programming protocol that will enable anyone to code. It's something I've done. I have case studies, and recall that I'm a legitimate illiterate, you know, never coded and all that. But most knowledge is mathematical equation, just adding English, and it suddenly becomes non-equations. Most answers are in the first, simplest, obvious solutions. Let's forget the end complexes, or tackling the end complexes solutions first. code is very simple. It's just made complex so that knowledge about it is hoarded, and some people can attain God status. In reality, just break code down, into micro programming with a hierarchy, where one task is done with regard for an upcoming task. You write the algorithms in this hierarchical manner, and you remove barriers to entry from coding, remove all the barriers of programming language. Even codes have barriers in form of language. Oh, I don't like this language, I will learn this language instead, Python. And suddenly you have barriers. You cannot code in React because you have learned Python. You don't like React programmers because you like Python programmers. There's so many barriers to entry. You just remove these barriers and code becomes very easy, available to even elite, so-called illiterates of the world. Remove the notion of developing and developed nations. It affects code. It affects anything. Suddenly people that did the same coding education are no longer the same. You see an Indian programmer and and you immediately say, oh, this person would take chicken change. No, it's from India. They are cheap. It's from a third world country. It's from a developing country. And these people embrace these things. They see themselves as second class developers on the same level of education, and that's deters their potential for excellence. They can't take moves that so-called regular people take because they are from a particular IP location. Then they turn to the internet hoping it will not be the same, and it's the same. Because you want to reach out to venture capitalists in USA, wanting to help them build your project, you write a blog or innocently expecting that it will rank across the globe, but your blog only shows in India because the Google search engine algorithm considers that relevant. It doesn't know that people in India are aspiring to reach people across the globe. Doesn't know of the tunnels, what goes on in the tunnels. So how can you write algorithms that will cater to a large expanse of populace that is in tunnels? Tunnels are illusionary. I'm just using it, so that people can relate. How can you build a search engine? And that's what we are going to do. We are going to create a new internet, a new search engine that ranks. Everyone has potential to rank. And where there's an oracle, we use an oracle mechanism. The oracle will be capable of having flaws. Bots of today's are perfect. We want bots where we carry out automation. It will have flaws so that there's avenues for forgiveness. We're now looking for flawless. These are the dynamics that surround all my projects, making it very powerful, world-reaching. Now, if we can reach billions of people, remove all barriers to entry from every human activity, making each human activity powerful because it has now become an avenue to consciously evolve as humans. Humans will be redirected to the Creator without consciousness. There is testimonies to this. When I started U-logging, in the first 4 months, 5,000 people started U-logging. And there are testimonies. Let's not go there. There were 179,000 comments. And yes, let's not go there. So macro art was to remove all barriers to entry from the world of programming, enabling people to be able to build their dreams. So one thing that is missing when it comes to dream building is programming. We remove all barriers to that. And the other aspect is services. We use Steam Gigs to remove that, where even if you don't have money, you can build a dream. We also power it with a teardrops token. Where you have a dream, we can play a role in helping you evolve your dream for the sake of becoming part of historical history, for the sake of fixing generations yet born. We fund your dream, even with our teardrops token, rewarding your efforts. So tears. How did this all start? The question that started it is, can we fix the tears with some tears? I was looking at the first, simplest, obvious solution. While everybody is looking to create this and create that, in a bid to fix tears, because that's what the world thinks is the issue with the world: tears, because tears is associated with sadness, associated with poverty, when, like I mentioned earlier, a typical human cannot exhibit poverty. The problem with the world is not poverty. Hence, the solution for the world is not reward distribution. The dynamics of the world revolves around that certain part of the world is poor and certain people are solution bringers. They have to distribute the rewards being mostly money. Now, even if you look at rewards can constitute a variety of things in reality. A prayer is a reward, a warm handshake is a reward. But does the world know of these dynamics? The answer is no. Information is a reward. Timely information is a reward. The world doesn't know of these dynamics, so it hypes money. Money is the primary thing, and hypes only that aspect of the reward of the rewards and want to distribute that. Now, the problem with the world is not reward distribution. Hence, that is not the right path to solution. What is missing from the world is the human shine. Humans don't feel like owners. Humans don't feel like, when you tap into your shine, that's greatness. You won't be in competition, in rift or tension with someone else, because just next to you is a fellow full-blown human. Your mentality will be that of a high player, as it is supposed to be, in the image of the Creator. You'll have restored all your sense of virtue, your sense of justice, your self-sacrifice. It's just as simple. It's just as difficult as 1, 2, 3. Now, a lot starts there. Knowledge of the invincible Creator. Then you can find Him. And this is what Satan doesn't want to occur. But this is my route. Now, if I tell you my story, since I got very close, my startups, they all started. Right now, my domains are down. Who will believe in me just to help me set up a hub? Who will believe in me and just close their eyes and help me? I will help you in return. I will help. There's so much I can help you with, so much. I'm a workaholic. I'm extremely loving. For someone to have undergone heights of suffering, cruelty, and stayed extremely loving. My mom died in my presence. My dad is ill in my presence. I am extremely loving. My definition is unshakable, deeply rooted within my cores. Who will just close their eyes and help me? These times the battles are so hard, but we're so close. Why are we so close? Because if you check the open source platform where I've written all the algorithms are written, and these social media platforms are already in existence. The Teardrops token is already in existence, but I lost on health, that I'm no longer a human. I don't sleep 24 hours yet. Gosh, who is going to help me? Who is going to listen to this video to the end? That is just a step. And how can you really help someone when you cannot do as much as listen to someone's video? Jehovah, please help me. Send someone to help me. It's just established that without this health, gosh, I try, but in a day, even though I'm up for 24 hours, I only can push out 1 hour of productivity that Terry can push out. I used to be 10 hours talking on a Discord, even with only me. I can do a lot. And my projects have grand meaning, grand significance, can reach the entire globe. I have an entire school that I've written all the curriculums for. Everyone can school in it. It's called Legitimate Illiteracy. The knowledge contained in the notebooks. We'll create a game that everybody will play. I'm going to create an entire dictionary, an entire book of verses containing legitimate illiteracy. macro hard for programming, write a programming protocol. We're going to also have reality TV shows that carries the on this talented paradigm, where anyone can participate and anyone wins something. If you see this, may the Spirit touch you. I'm here with all my being in rubble, but my hand is outstretched. Not only that you can give me a hand, but that I can give you a hand in return. All I want to do is a hub, a physical location where I can gather people in. Programmers, entrepreneurs, then inculcating them legitimate illiteracy, emanate brothers out of them, generation fixers, bring my projects to full-blown life while they use my projects as case study experimentally to hone their programming expertise. Then my projects start in motion and begins to reach the world. These things are not hard. A simple domain name that is bought today for $1, in 2 years, 3 years, only the domain name alone can be worth $1 million. Only the domain name. We're not talking of the social media platform. This is possible. Ulog is a big word. It's a big word. If you check the Google search engine, Ulog already has the first page of Google. If you type in the word Ulogs, people can become Uloggers. Currently, the domain name is down because I've not been able to pay the server. I've been so shattered, about to be homeless. I was supposed to be homeless last month. And now it's not about me. I have a dad. I cannot move like before. Health aside, before I can go and live anywhere in the bush, a small room. Now these things are not possible. Somebody, please help me. This is all me talking to myself, but hoping that my spirit appeals to someone out there. Please look at me and listen to me. Let's discuss. Let's set up a hub. I bought a camera, I bought computers. What is left to start is a rental place. And that is just sufficient. But I want to rent for 6 months so that for 6 months, I can focus without, too much fear, anxiety, and all that. So please help me if you're listening to this. The projects that I have are not in existence anywhere in the world. It can't be because the paradigms guarding it are not contained in books. Down to earth paradigms. It doesn't have a black or white paper, it has a colorless paper. When it comes to lists, we will use gray lists instead of black or white lists. Everything about the projects are written, are known, established, deeply rooted, experimented with testimonies and case studies. And the amazing thing is that these applications are already live. It just needs more development, but because of health, I'm no longer functioning. I need a recovery, and with a hub, even though I'm still working, I'll be able to recover, delegate tasks after I've inculcated, the dynamics of my vision to the people there. They become brothers and true fans, and I can begin to delegate, tasks to them while I start to recover gradually. When my projects are in motion and a measure of automated, then I will take 6 months to 1 year where I will not use a phone, I will not use a PC. I may have a holiday from my dad just to remodel my body, my genes, my formation. If I continue like this, may Jehovah keep me alive. May He keep me alive. And may He keep me alive with health, because my body has taken too much of a beating. Whoever is there, please listen. I'm your boy Terry. If you need help with anything, seriously, I will put in my spirit. It's not entirely about money. You listen to the things I say, draw inspiration from it, carry it out. 6 months, there will be adjustment. I'm simply going to tell you to CEO yourself for 6 months. Use every human activity to evolve. At the very least, at the end of 6 months, you will have tapped into your shine. You will have knowledge that nobody in the world has. You'll be able to stand with any elite, any so-called elite in the world, even without secular knowledge, because you have a particular knowledge that can influence their perception because they've never seen it before. It's not contained in any books. And when you have that knowledge, there's nothing, no industry, no niche, no project you build that will not have its own particular edge. It will transcend nation, color, labels, appeal to the soft spot of every human, just courtesy of their human, because what you are bringing out is spiritual, and that transcends the physical. I'm your boy Terry. I love you. Your boy Terry is a constant, whether bulls or bears. Stay awesome. My username across the internet is surpassing Google. Stay awesome.